Hey fellow Genshin cosplayers! Have you ever wanted to make Xilonen's shorts, while also mitigating some of the impossible design elements she has, and maybe fixing that really weird hole she has at the back? Yeah, well this might be the tutorial for you. Now you can either buy a pattern for high-waisted shorts online, or draft your own like I did by tracing an existing pair of high-waisted shorts. I just referenced a free online Bernina blog post to make sure that the front and back panels look correct. But at this point, the most important part is that you add in where you want the hole in your yoke part of the pattern to be, and then test it out on a scrap piece of fabric. In my pattern, you can see that the waistband is a lot thicker, the hole is smaller, and it sits a little bit higher in the shorts themselves. Use your mock-up to fix up the pattern and then transfer your design to your final fabric. I wanted realistic 3D fake pockets, so this is a list of all the pieces I cut out. Now by top stitching the false pocket front piece to the full front piece, I had the illusion of fake pockets. These are the two videos that I used to sew together all the panels of the shorts. Now you can do the same as long as you remember that you'll have a hole in the back of your yoke, and I also added a seam in the back of the waistband that aligned with the back seam of the shorts. I didn't hem the bottom of the left side of the shorts because I knew I was going to mark out and cut that panel that she has in the side of the jean shorts. And all I did was finish the raw edges with a zigzag stitch and then folded under the edges and top stitched around the perimeter of that cutout. I then added the rectangular strap I had made to the sides of the cutout, and then I cut it in the middle before finishing it with a zigzag stitch. I knew I couldn't make this a set of 3 chain beads because I needed this area to move and stretch when I walked or sat, so I wrapped an elastic in an old pair of pantyhose and made a practically invisible strap that could stretch and I could still mount some of those gems and hardware onto. I then 3D modeled some of that hardware, printed it on my resin printer, spray painted it, and hand sewed it onto the band. At this point I had also hand painted some of her designs by mixing acrylic paint with fabric medium. Next I stitched on the leopard accent, a patch that I made with heat transfer vinyl, and finally the fur trim. I then made some straps from pleather and then hand sewed some mesh behind it. The belt was constructed by sewing a long pleather sleeve and inserting a 2mm piece of foam inside before top stitching around the perimeter. I hand sewed it to either side of the hole in the back. I 3D modeled the belt studs, 3D printed them on PLA, sanded them, and then spray painted them before gluing them on using cyanoacrylate or super glue. I mixed tons of fabric medium with acrylic paints to paint her belt designs and painted the gem accessories I printed. Then I painted and glued on the belt buckle that I had 3D printed onto the belt itself. The belt gems were attached together and onto the belt using jumper rings. Finally, the belt snaps together using Velcro and snaps. Thanks for watching!